Have you ever wondered what it's like to squeeze a couch through a doorway that's clearly too small while your boss watches impatiently? Or how about loading a truck so perfectly that nothing shifts during a bumpy ride across town? Moving Simulator takes one of life's most stressful experiences and turns it into a game. And honestly, I can't believe how much fun I had doing virtual labor. Stay with me, because this first look is going to show you why moving furniture might just be the most unexpectedly entertaining thing you do all week. When I first saw Moving Simulator pop up on Steam, I'll be honest, I chuckled. A game about moving houses? Really? But then I started playing, and something clicked. This isn't just some throwaway simulator. This is a genuinely engaging experience that captures both the frustration and the weird satisfaction of moving, minus the actual back pain and sweat. You start as the owner of your own moving business, which immediately gives you this sense of ownership over your work. You're not just a hired hand, you're building something here. And that changes everything. Each job you take on becomes an opportunity to prove yourself, to make money, to expand your operation. It's simple on paper, but in execution, it's surprisingly deep. The core gameplay revolves around three main phases, and each one has its own unique challenges. First, there's the packing and disassembly phase. You walk into someone's home, and it's your job to figure out how to pack everything safely and efficiently. This isn't just throwing stuff in boxes. You need to think about what goes where, how fragile items should be wrapped, whether you need to disassemble furniture before moving it. I spent way more time than I expected carefully organizing boxes, trying to maximize space while making sure nothing breakable ended up crushed under something heavy. Then comes the part that really surprised me with its difficulty: actually moving the furniture. You'd think it's straightforward, right? Pick it up, carry it out. But the game nails the physics and spatial awareness required for real moving. Trying to maneuver a couch through a narrow hallway, around a corner, through a door frame that's just slightly too small, it's a puzzle every single time. I found myself rotating furniture at weird angles, tilting it just right, sometimes having to set it down and approach from a different direction. The game demands precision, and when you finally get that massive wardrobe through an impossible doorway, it feels genuinely satisfying. What I love is how the game doesn't make this process frustrating. Yes, it's challenging, but it's the good kind of challenge. The controls are responsive, the physics feel realistic but not overly punishing. When something goes wrong, it's usually because I misjudged an angle or rushed, not because the game is fighting against me. And believe me, things do go wrong. I've knocked over lamps, scratched walls, accidentally dropped fragile items more times than I'd like to admit. But even those failures are kind of funny in retrospect. The loading phase is where strategy really comes into play. You've got a truck, and you need to fit everything in there in a way that makes sense. Heavier items on the bottom, fragile stuff secured properly, everything arranged so it doesn't shift during transport. It's like the world's most high-stacks game of Tetris, except the pieces are irregular shapes, and if you mess up, you'll hear everything crashing around during the drive. And oh man, the transportation straps. The game doesn't just let you throw everything in and call it done. You need to actually secure your load with straps to prevent disasters during transit. I learned this the hard way on my second or third job when I neglected to strap down a bookshelf properly. Hit one sharp turn at moderate speed, and suddenly everything in the back of the truck became a chaotic avalanche. Watching the damage counter tick up as boxes tumbled and furniture slid around was painful. Each job takes place in different locations, and the variety is really impressive. One job, you're moving someone out of a cramped apartment with narrow staircases and tight corners. The next, you're working in a sprawling mansion with multiple floors and way too many rooms. Then there's a quirky house with weird layouts that seem designed specifically to make your life difficult. Every environment presents new challenges, new obstacles to overcome, and the residents themselves add character to each move. Some are patient and understanding. Others are demanding and watch your every move critically. The upgrade system is what keeps you motivated to take on more jobs. Every successful move earns you money, and that money can be invested back into your business. You can expand your fleet with bigger trucks that can carry more items. You can buy better equipment like furniture dollies, better straps, protective blankets. You can even hire helpers eventually, though I haven't unlocked that yet in my playthrough. There's this tangible sense of progression. You start small, struggling with basic moves, and gradually you're equipped to handle bigger, more complex contracts. Graphically, Moving Simulator has this clean, slightly stylized look that works perfectly for what it is. It's not trying to be photorealistic, but it's detailed enough that you can clearly see what you're doing. The furniture models are well made, environments are distinct and recognizable, and the lighting gives everything a pleasant, approachable feel. The UI is clear and functional, showing you your checklist, inventory, and damage status without cluttering the screen. The physics are where the game really shines visually. Watching a heavy dresser react realistically as you tilt it through a doorway, seeing boxes stack and shift naturally in the truck, the way items tumble if you're not careful, it all feels convincing. The game finds this sweet spot between realistic physics and playable mechanics. It's challenging but not simulation-level difficult. Now, the big question: is Moving Simulator a co-op game? From what I can see in the current version, it appears to be single-player focused. And honestly, while co-op would be amazing for this type of game, imagine coordinating with a friend to carry a couch together. The single-player experience is solid enough that it doesn't feel like something's missing. You're completely in control of the entire operation, which has its own appeal. That said, if the developers add multiplayer in the future, this could become an absolute blast with friends. The audio design is understated but effective. The sounds of furniture scraping against walls, boxes being set down, the truck engine rumbling, footsteps on different surfaces, it all adds to the immersion without being distracting. There's background music that's chill and upbeat, keeping the mood light even when you're stressed about fitting everything in the truck. It never gets annoying even after extended play sessions, which is crucial for this type of game. What really surprised me is how the game manages to make mundane tasks feel engaging. In real life, moving is exhausting and stressful. In Moving Simulator, it's this weird mix of puzzle solving, spatial reasoning, and time management that somehow becomes addictive. There's something deeply satisfying about completing a move perfectly, everything packed efficiently, nothing damaged, arriving at the destination with everything intact. It appeals to that organizational part of my brain that loves seeing things done right. The comedy and chaos the game promises definitely delivers. I've had moments where I've accidentally knocked over an entire stack of boxes like dominoes. I've wedged furniture in doorways so thoroughly that I had to completely rethink my approach. I've watched in horror as an unsecured load shifted during a drive, destroying half the items I was supposed to deliver safely. These moments could be frustrating, but the game presents them with enough lightheartedness that they become funny stories, rather than rage-inducing failures. The puzzles and logistical challenges are genuinely clever. Some moves have special requirements or obstacles. Maybe there's construction blocking the normal route, so you need to find an alternate path. Maybe the client has extremely fragile antiques that require extra care. Maybe you're working under a tight time limit. These variables keep each job feeling fresh and prevent the gameplay loop from becoming stale. The creative problem-solving aspect is real. There's usually more than one way to approach a move, and figuring out the optimal strategy is half the fun. Do you make multiple trips with smaller loads, or do you pack everything in one go and risk damage? Do you disassemble that bed frame, or can you fit it through if you're clever enough? Do you prioritize speed or safety? These decisions matter, and different approaches work better for different situations. I appreciate that the game respects your time while still providing substantial content. Individual moves can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes depending on complexity, which makes it easy to play in sessions of varying lengths. You can knock out a quick job during a break or sink into a longer session tackling multiple contracts. The pacing feels natural, never rushed but never dragging either. The difficulty progression is well-tuned. Early jobs ease you into the mechanics, teaching you the basics without overwhelming you. As you advance, contracts become more demanding. Bigger houses, more items, trickier layouts, more demanding clients. But because you're also upgrading your equipment and skills, it never feels like the game is unfairly punishing you. You're growing alongside the challenges. One thing I genuinely love is how the game makes you appreciate the real-world job of professional movers. After playing this, I have newfound respect for people who do this for a living. The spatial awareness, the physical coordination, the planning required, it's legitimately difficult work, and they do it all day, every day, without the luxury of quick saves or restarts. Performance-wise, the game runs smoothly. I didn't encounter any significant bugs or technical issues. Load times are quick, frame rates are stable, physics interactions are consistent. It's a polished experience that feels finished and tested, which isn't always a given with simulator games. If I were to nitpick, I'd say the game could benefit from even more variety in job types. Maybe commercial moves, office relocations, storage unit organization. The core gameplay is strong enough that I'd love to see it applied to more scenarios. And as I mentioned earlier, multiplayer could open up a whole new dimension of fun and coordination. But these are minor wishes for an already solid game. Moving succeeds at what it sets out to do. It takes an everyday task that most people dread and turns it into an engaging, often amusing gameplay experience. It's accessible enough for anyone to pick up, but deep enough to keep you invested as you build your moving empire. Moving Simulator is one of those games that sounds ridiculous on paper, but absolutely works in practice. It's proof that you can make a compelling game out of almost anything if you nail the mechanics and respect what makes that activity interesting. If you're looking for something different, something that's equal parts relaxing and challenging, give this one a shot. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a moving disaster in real life, and whether this game brings back any traumatic memories. Thanks for joining me for this first look, and I'll see you in the next video.